Hi everybody and welcome to our, well, sort of rather unplanned TNT coming to you from my new living room. Now, I wasn't going to be here, but circumstances have sort of placed me here. So apologies if we don't have everything just looking perfect. The main thing is the stories we cover. By the way, subscribe to the channel if you enjoy finding out what's happening in Thailand 5 days a week. And we start off with, well, a bit of a throwback to the past, when that boat sank, the naval boat sank off Prachuap Khiri Khan some 15 months ago. Well, it's taken till now for the salvage to get underway, but underway it is. We go to the Khalsod English Facebook page, and they say the combined operation of the Royal Thai Navy and the United States Navy aboard the Ocean Valor vessel stationed near the location where the HTMS Sukhothai sank off Prachuap Khiri Khan province conducted 4 dives on February the 26th, marking the 5th day of searching and decommissioning hazardous materials operations on the Sukhothai. Now, in recent months, we've been reporting about the various companies vying for the salvage rights or quoting to do the salvage operations on the HTMS Sukhothai, but it ends up that the US Navy and the Thai Navy are cooperating to, well, carry out that project. And the missions include searching for missing sailors and examining evidence for investigation within various areas inside the vessel. And they go through the various operations on the last 5 dives. And it says the operation succeeded smoothly and all personnel are safe. As of now, no missing sailors have been found inside the vessel. It takes us to this story from nationthailand.com. Joint US-Thai search of HTMS Sukhothai to continue for the 5th day. It says the operation to search for and remove hazardous materials from the HTMS Sukhothai continued on Sunday with 6 dives to search for missing persons in Radar Room 2. Well, the story from Khalsod English just 1 day later. You wonder if they might be searching for something that perhaps nobody else is meant to find. And the divers also retrieved M16 rifles prepared to disassemble a 20mm caliber machine gun and took comprehensive photographs around the ship. And the Navy's released the latest images of the submerged vessel, which has now been underwater for 14 months. They include an exploration of the commander's room and the examination of other areas within the vessel in search of the remains of the deceased. So at this stage, no missing crew have been found. Now, we mentioned in yesterday's program that on Saturday night the Thai Prime Minister made another one of his surprise visits to Suvarnabhumi Airport. Bit of damning comments made by the Prime Minister about how slow it was for people to get out of the country and into the country. He's certainly got the headlines, which I suppose was exactly what he wanted. More staff, auto gates to speed up Suvarnabhumi queues. So a lot more officials, a lot more people in suits getting their photo opportunities, parading around the airport, insisting that things must be fixed. And airport and immigration authorities are rostering additional staff and installing more automatic processing gates in response to the Prime Minister's complaints about slow passenger queues at Suvarnabhumi Airport. And the AOT President gave the assurance after inspecting Suvarnabhumi Airport with the Commander of Immigration Division 2 on Sunday, and they were responding to the PM Seta Tawisin's complaint that immigration queues were still too long and too slow. Mr. Karati admitted there was a problem. Passengers took about 1 hour and 10 minutes to complete immigration procedures during peak hours, and about 46 minutes on average. During the peak hours, there were 5,000 to 6,000 passengers an hour. Now, I've gone through Suvarnabhumi Airport in 5 minutes. I've gone through Suvarnabhumi Airport in an hour and a half. It depends so much on the other planes that are landing at the same time. But when it gets busy, it gets very busy, and people do remember those bad experiences. The AOT's target was to limit waiting times to 30 minutes. He said the AOT would deploy 800 new staff to support searches. Searches? And help passengers by March the 30th. It had also asked immigration police to ensure all immigration booths were staffed during peak hours. And for their part, the Immigration Division 2 would assign 200 new officers to Suvarnabhumi Airport on March the 1st and 400 more by the end of this year. So you'd think with all these additional staff that some of these longer queues may be a thing of the past. We're yet to see what happens. And by July the 15th, there would be 80 more automatic channels for inbound and outbound passengers, with more efficient software to check passports. 20 new gates would be installed by June the 15th. Advanced tech would facilitate power bank examination and end the requirement for passengers to take off their shoes. So the power bank examination reference, obviously a follow-up to that power bank fire on a domestic Thai Air Asia flight on the weekend. Now, it's not only slow going through the Suvarnabhumi airport at times, it's also slow going if you're heading south from Bangkok. And this story from the Bangkok Post: jams on Rama II road blamed for Hua Hin's decline. Hua Hin suffered a decline, something we haven't reported in the past. Let's see if we can find out some more. And the Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin has ordered the Transport Ministry to expedite the construction along Rama II road after a popular online survey found congestion along the road is putting tourists off the resort town of Hua Hin. Now, on any weekend, any time during the year, there's a lot of people travelling out of Bangkok for the 3 to 3.5 hour drive down to the seaside resort of Hua Hin on the Gulf of Thailand coast. And the survey launched by the popular Facebook page Pak Subai last week asked netizens to pick a reason behind the continued decline in the number of tourists visiting Hua Hin. And while many netizens picked expensive accommodation and the nation's poor economic recovery, congestion along Rama II road topped the list of reasons for the town's decline. So we'll get to that alleged decline in just a moment. But yeah, if you're travelling along Rama II heading south, particularly at the Bangkok end at the moment, they're building one of those above-road motorways for many, many, many kilometres. And as we've reported in the past, some of those sections have fallen down and killed a few people in the time it's being constructed, but it's certainly slowing things down. And traffic congestion has long been a problem along Rama II road, which is one of the main roads which connects Bangkok to the south. The construction of an elevated highway is plagued by numerous delays, worsening traffic jams along the road that the project is supposed to alleviate. And the Transport Ministry, meanwhile, has pledged to speed up the construction to ensure minimal disruption ahead of the Songkran holidays. But the Deputy Governor of Prachuap Khiri Khan said overall, Hua Hin is popular with both Thai and foreign visitors, especially on the weekends. And a few other people weighed in to support the number of people who are still going to Hua Hin. And Khalsat English on their Facebook page reports that the Vice President of the Western Thai Hotels Association, he's also the advisor to the Hua Hin Cha Am Tourism Business Association, rejected the claim that Hua Hin was quiet during the 3-day holiday from February the 24th to the 26th due to traffic congestion on Rama II. And he claimed that Hua Hin still has got around about 80 to 90% hotel booking volume, which is considered good. And he's quoted, Hua Hin is still popular with European tourists who come to relax and go against the trend of Thai tourists. The proportion is around 80 to 85%. The remaining 15 to 20% are Thais. So there you go. Maybe he should know if Hua Hin's quiet or not. Perhaps you can tell us if you live in the area. Has it been quiet, or have you seen plenty of tourists, Thais and Europeans? Anybody else visiting the area recently? Interested to hear your comments. Also, when I last drove south, coming along Rama II, coming back last year, bringing the old Mercedes back to Phuket, I did spend a lot of time driving like this, wondering if one of those pylons was going to fall down. It just seems to go on for like maybe 20 or 30 kilometres, all these roadworks, but I suppose it'll all be much faster when it's finished. Now, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. As I said, it doesn't cost you a cent. But we go from Hua Hin to the other side of the Gulf of Thailand, to Pattaya and Jomtien. And this is an opinion piece. I won't read all of it, but I'll put a link in the description, an opinion piece from Adam Judd, the editor at thepattayanews.com. And he says the face of Jomtien is changing and not everyone agrees with it. Later this week, from March the 1st, Jomtien Beach Road begins an ambitious beach area construction project from the Jomtien Beach police box to the Chaya Pruk intersection, which will see the street turn one way for some time in a decision that's not been greeted with much positive fanfare. And he says, I've been a resident of Jomtien since 2017, for the years before that I lived in central Pattaya. Jomtien's always had the reputation of a quieter area than Pattaya, without as much nightlife and with many expat residents. I live in the busier area of Jomtien near Dongtan that sees many bars and restaurants as opposed to the further end approaching Nad Jomtien, but even that area is changing. He says the beach expansion has brought multiple new night markets to the Jomtien Beach area and many overnight drinkers, some who light off fireworks and play loud music at all hours of the night, annoying residents who had previously chosen this area for being quiet and more remote than central Pattaya. And many of our readers are probably also not aware that the southern end of Jomtien Beach, near the big seafood restaurants, is not the responsibility of Pattaya City, but are handled by Sattahip and Nad Jomtien authorities. Differences in how each jurisdiction handles complaints and problems have also annoyed some local residents. And he notes that Pattaya is actively looking at possibly expanding the legal entertainment zones from central Pattaya into Jomtien as well, but not the Sattahip portion. Those zones have not changed in almost 25 years, and since they were first instituted, Jomtien has now seen hundreds of bars arrive and is now the home of the largest and most popular gay area in Pattaya, taking over from Boys Town even before COVID. So there you are, some perspective there from Adam Judd, the editor of the Pattaya News. I would be interested to hear your thoughts if you live in Pattaya or Jomtien especially. Has it got unreasonably noisy in recent times? What do you think about the proposed changes to the landscaping along the beach? Are you enjoying the changes, or are you hoping or wishing for quieter times in the past? Interested to hear your comments. As we head to thaipbsworld.com, and Anaton's at it again. Draft decree signed exempting those who surrender unregistered firearms from legal action. And used to be the Public Health Minister in the past, now the Interior Minister, Anaton Charvirakun, has signed a draft executive decree exempting owners of illegal firearms who surrender them to the authorities within a specific time frame from legal action. And a spokesperson for the Interior Ministry said that 83% of criminal offences involving firearms committed between 2016 and 2023 involved illegal weapons. And she said that the number of blank-firing guns which have been modified to fire live ammunition has also increased, and they're available online or through normal channels. And she said that a crackdown on these illegal weapons alone is not sufficient, and that's necessitated the issuance of the decree to encourage the illegal gun owners to surrender their weapons without fear of prosecution. So basically, a gun amnesty on illegal guns. We'll be interested to see what the response is, and if indeed the Interior Ministry, that is a very, very big wasp flying into the house. That's not going to distract me at all. It's going to be interesting to see what sort of response they get in the next few months. And heading now to the Bangkok Post, and an ongoing story about these two young protesters who are currently on a hunger strike and, quite ill. And the activist's father pleads for bail as hunger strike continues. And the father of activist Tantawan has urged the court to reconsider granting bail to his daughter and her friend, who are both on hunger strikes, saying that the case is under investigation and has not yet been prosecuted. The activist's father, accompanied by his daughter's lawyer, submitted a handwritten petition to the criminal court after it denied bail to Tantawan, who's 22, and her friend Frank, who's 23, on Sunday. The letter demanded the court be responsible for both activists' lives, saying that both are considered innocent as no legal sentence has been made. And he asked the question, who would be responsible if the two activists died during the detention, as the court refused to grant them a temporary release. And the two of them currently remain in police custody while receiving hospital treatment for their condition caused by a lack of sufficient nourishment. That story being actively reported in Thai media, and both of them been on a hunger strike for many weeks now. And that brings us to the end of today's program. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date with things happening around Thailand. Great to have you with us again. Please subscribe to the channel, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.